I didn't know what it meant to be alone. I didn't know till the day you were gone that I could ever feel this miserable without you here with me. But now I'm standing looking in the mirror.
Hi, Ro.
Hi.
How are you? So, tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm from South Jersey. You know, my father is a butcher. My mom was a nurse. We were raised in a, I want to call it a crew. My mom and dad together had 12 kids. We were raised on a farm. We had to do a lot of work growing up, a lot of work that most kids didn't do growing up. You know, we had to feed the animals and get up and get the breakfast, get the eggs from the chicken coops if you wanted to eat. We did a lot of stuff. Just growing up, learning how to live. With that, you know, going to school after that, because you had chores beforehand. You had chores, and then you had to go to school, and then you come back home, and you had chores. So we had like a factory kind of thing we had to do every day. So again, I'm one of the 10th children of 12 kids, and I'm the baby, one of the babies, you know, one of the babies. And so I'm from South Jersey, Pleasantville, New Jersey. Hey, we just learned how to live and live on the land, you know.
Did your hard work and dedication to the farm and school help you in your dedication to a healthy living and a healthy body?
Oh, that's good. That's a good question, because, of course, we worked a lot. So I think that contribute to having a mindset on keeping healthy, always moving, being strong, and you know, really staying out of the hospitals. We didn't go to the hospitals if we were to get sick for anything. We didn't go to the hospitals. So yeah, my dad kept us moving. My dad, you know, had us doing a lot. So I think that contribute. I want to say genetics also probably helped out with that, but yeah, a lot of that really helped.
Okay, so sometime in your life you've had to have an aha moment that started you on this journey.
Well, that
what was your aha moment?
That's another good question. That happened later on in life. Of course, you know, I have two gorgeous girls, and I think and I'm sure most people would agree that having kids, eating for 2 or 3 or 4, whatever you want to say you're eating for, put on the weight. So I felt like that was the opening door for me to eat as much and whatever I wanted. Why? Because it's for the babies. Okay. So with that, I gained so much weight. And in a way, I didn't even care because I thought it was for, you know, good cause. But then, come to find out, it wouldn't leave. It didn't shake. And then I go and see my doctor for a checkup, and that's when she said that you're fat, bro. You're just fat. And that was my aha. No, you didn't. Watch out. You saying this in a room, and it's just you and me. Oh, no, you don't, no cameras? No, but that did it for me. And instead of really having that attitude that you called me fat and my feelings are hurt, I decided to go ahead on and say, let me use this on me. Let me beat me up, opposed to beating my doctor up, and or fighting her. I don't know. She could have whipped my tail at the time because, you know, I was out of shape. But that's what did it for me. Her calling me fat and just saying that let me just take care of me now, because you're not going to say that to me any longer or anymore. So I'm going to go on and lose this weight and show you. So that was one of my aha or no you didn't moment.
Okay, so with that moment in your head, what did you do, or what was your regimen to start off your process of being healthier or being exercising, or what did you do?
With that, I didn't really know too much about working out. I didn't know a lot about it. I decided to pick up a Billy Blanks tape, and I just followed him for that. And then when I did that, I decided to take a nutritionist class, I took a nutritionist class to learn how to eat. And then with me learning how to eat, then I started working out. Of course, I was a lot. I was too heavy to do any running. Again, my weight was 329, and I was entirely too heavy to do any running, but I did walk a lot. And then I learned how to eat. So with that combination, that helped me to at least reach some goals. Taking the classes at PG for my nutritionist, she had instructed me to go and see my doctor to get my blood work done, to making sure that my LDLs, HDLs, and cholesterol was at a good level. My doctor knew that I was on this regimen, but it's like she was fighting me, She'd be like, well, what do you want now, Ro? You done been here 2 weeks ago, and now you're coming up here again. And I just told her to take my blood, because my nutritionist told me that she wanted to check it. So with that, my nutritionist, I had told her at the time that I'm doing this for the grade, but it's really for my life, So with her taking me under her wing, we did that, and then I started obeying her, and the weight was coming off. But in the midst of that, I stayed at walking. I was walking for miles. I had started off walking, of course, 5 miles, and I moved up to 10 miles. The weight was coming off. I was at work, and then I would start walking up and down the stairwells and all that stuff. And so doing that, I didn't do the scale. I didn't even care about the scale. What I did was my scrubs were becoming baggier and baggier and baggier, because they were already big scrubs. So as I was losing the weight, I looked like a little kid with big clothes, But we had ties that were tighter. People would be like, Ro, are you losing weight? And I'm like, oh, I'm glad they notice it. Because it said that people would notice it before you notice it. And I'm like, I got so much fat under this, y'all don't even know, They were like, you don't need to lose another pound. I'm like, watch me, And so then the next following week, the same people that noticed it, I would go up under them and hoping that I would get another report, because they were my scale. And they would tell me, don't lose anymore, don't lose anymore. I'm like, bump you. I gotta lose this weight because you don't know what's under here. It really wasn't in shape. But you could tell that it was coming down. So that's what, helped me to do what I do to get on, to reach my goal, was to move my butt and keep going.
So I hear that your desires to get healthy, born from the doctor telling you that you needed to lose weight because you were fat. But there has to be some other inspiration that in your life that helped you to keep going, because many of us will start and stop.
Well, when she said I was borderline of being diabetic, and then I have my 2 girls, I can't let them live without me. I wanted to do things with them, go on the field trips and go to the library with them and do some things with them. So being that she said I was borderline being diabetic, and I've worked in the medical field and I've taken care of people who are, had diabetes, I was like, I can't be sticking myself in the stomach with any insulin shots or needles. I could give you a needle. Well, I ain't give, and it was like that for me. I ain't giving me a needle, but that's what basically did it. I wanted to live for my girls, and that's what really kind of motivated me to just do the right thing for them. And now, we would do all kinds of athletic things that I think that people at my age now can't even do with their kids. And they're the same age as I am and can't do what I do. I do some crazy things now, but so they're the ones that really motivate me, besides having Janet Jackson's abs. So, I said, and when I saw it, I'm like, well, why is it that Janet could get them and I can't? I'm going to get Janet Jackson's abs. Now, Janet ain't got nothing. Sorry, Janet. Yeah, no. So no, that's what did it. That's what did it. I felt that if Janet could do it, I could do it too. What makes her better than me? Okay. So that's the 2 main things that kept me going and motivated me.
Okay. So I know you were a nurse.
Yeah.
And I know you're now a trainer.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you progressed from a nurse.
Well, rightly, I was an EMT.
Losing weight.
Yeah.
To becoming Designing Bodies by Ro.
Well, working in the emergency room, when you're working in a facility like that, you're dealing with a lot of people, different attitudes, different personalities, people who are feeling ill, or people who wants attention and stuff like that. So being that I worked in there for 20 years, and all what you do, even if you're doing CPR on them and you bring them back and you forget to give them a fork for their food, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to tell the supervisor on you, I'm going to have your job, and all that kind of complaint and stuff. So I figured, what I could do is I can go and love people and take care of people, which I think I have the gift for, in another realm. And that would be saving lives in another way. Preventive maintenance, not having them to meet me in the hospital. Let's stop you from going into the hospital. Let's go ahead on and do what we need to do so that we don't have to go to the hospital. So what had happened was, as I was walking up and down the stairs, being a pipe piper, people were noticing. My coworkers was noticing that, my scrubs was saturated because I was, sweating. And they're like, well, where you coming from? I'm like, I'm walking the stairs. And so when they noticed that, the doctors, the nurses, the clerks, everyone would follow me to the stairs. You going to the stairs, Ro? I'm going with you, And with that, I noticed that people started following me, and they started trusting me and what I was doing and what I would tell them. And going up and down the stairs, we go to the penthouse upstairs, and I have them doing push-ups, sit-ups, and all that kind of stuff. And then I thought to myself, if these people believe in me and trust me to lead them to better health, then maybe that's what I should do. So 3 years before I retired from the hospital, I got my certs to be a trainer. I did it. I was going to school, going to PG for that, and went to school for it, got my certs, still at the hospital, but I started training at Sports and Learning Complex. So I was training at Sports and Learning Complex for 3 years before I even let the hospital go. And then I said, enough is enough. I couldn't keep both of them. The reason being is that my classes were on Mondays and Wednesdays. So then the hospital had rotating shifts. So sometimes I would do 11 to 11, a 10 to 10, a 3 to 3, a 12 to 12. So when they would kick into my days that I would train here, I was like, I can't keep doing this. I would ask my coworkers, can you cover me? I would ask somebody would take my spot, and I'll take your spot later on, or something like that. And then they didn't want to do that because they had schedules of their own, So I said, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to let them go. So that's when I resigned from there and decided to make this my full-time gig. And I've been doing this for, almost 15 years now.
So how did you come up with Designing Bodies by Ro?
Well, when I realized that not only in the stairwell I was designing different bodies and doing the right thing, I kept trying to think, what kind of name could I have to show the creativity of what I'm doing for people? I'm designing their bodies. So you had different people saying designing bodies by somebody, or bodies being designed by something. I'm like, I don't know what to call it, but I like Designing Bodies by Ro. And that's what I'm doing. Let me try to patent that and get that as my license. So it's just because of the fact that I realized that's what I was doing for people, designing their bodies and their lives. I should have had Designing Life by Ro. I should have had that. But no, designing bodies. So that, and then it's so funny because everybody's like, Ro designed this body, and then they're giving me the credit for it, and which is good. But that's basically realizing what I was doing for people, designing their bodies. So and I thought it was a good catch.
Doing your Designing Body by Ro, I know that's what you still do.
Yes.
That's the Iron Girls.
Yes.
But what is
This is my other company.
Inspiration to other people? What do you give to other people? What do you say to other people when they come to you as clients to try to keep them going, to try to make them see that this side is a better side, a healthier side? What is your inspiration to others?
I think when I start talking to people, I become really heartfelt, especially when they come to me and tell me they need to do better in their life. They need to feel better. They need to sleep better. And my first words to them is love yourself. You got to love yourself, because of course you cannot love me. You cannot love your family because it starts with you. And I mean, I know this sounds cliche, where as though everybody's always saying, yeah, you know, you got to love yourself, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But it starts with you. And if you don't, then you're hypocritical, because you can't love me if you don't love you. So that's what I first start off telling clients, people who are interested in getting their bodies lifting weights. Don't hit yourself in the head. You better love yourself, you know, because I know if you could hit yourself, you surely could hit me with it. So that's one of the things that I try to encourage people. Also, I try to tell them that, you know, you could be a better you. Why is it that everybody else, why is it that I can have the opportunity and the ability to change my life around and to change my body and do a configuration? I looked at it and I said, you know, everybody else is doing it. Whoever really, really want it. And I said to people, you got to want it for yourself. You got to love yourself. You got to, in order to do this. So basically, that's what I just tell them. If you really want it, you'll love yourself.
Do you encourage them to love themselves in what position or avenue they're in at the moment? Because I know a lot of people come in and they're overweight and they don't have the strength that they want. And you're trying to get them to a better place. But do you encourage them to love themselves at whatever position they're in at the time?
Sure. I do tell them that, because this is where it starts right now. Start loving you right now, regardless of what platform you're at. Start loving you so we can start loving you even more. And as you're loving you, you'll see a transformation in what you're doing. So don't worry about what you did in the past. Don't worry about all that other stuff that you've done or been through. Right now is the time. Right now you want to start really hugging yourself. You know, I love hugging me, because, you know, I think I get better hugs than anybody. You know. But anyway, start loving you, kissing you, doing for you, doing little things that, you know, you don't look forward to anybody doing for you. You know, you don't want to expect anything from anyone, because, you know, they'll disappoint you in a minute. So you don't want to do that. You want to just take care of you. I tell them, right now is the time. Right now is the time to start off and doing what you need to do for yourself, basically, you know, and taking off, and don't look back. You know, then you start seeing a different you. I always tell people that others will see it before you see it. And, you know, and like when I was in the hospital with the scrubs, they saw through the scrubs, you know. They're like, you know, I look like a little kid with the big old baggy, you know, arms and whatnot have you, with the arms coming down. But, yeah, others will see it before you see it. So don't worry about that. You know, just keep moving, keep going for the mark. Don't look left or right. I always tell people, just keep straight, just keep straight. And that's what I did. I had to discipline myself. You know, I know I wanted it. And I always want everybody to get the hunger that I had. Because it didn't matter. It didn't matter whether it was snowing outside, hail, sleet, rain. I was out there for me. Because I was like, that's where my love is. Get on out there. I wouldn't wait on anyone to join me. Because if you said, Ro, I'm going to join you. If you ain't out there, you ain't out there. I know I'm going to get some of this love out here. You know, and it was times, I could tell you, back in the day, it was times when I would come up here and I would run where the FedEx field is, and the U.S. Park Police or the troopers would be out there. It's like God sent. They will wait out there for me to finish, because I guess they figured or realized, because it was cold out and nobody else is, and it was woods back there, nobody else is running out here but this lady, and what's she doing coming out? And they would wait. I would go up to their window and knock on their window and say, I'm finished, you know, because they would wait for the duration of me finishing up my either walk or run or whatever it is that I was doing, exercise. So I thank God for that, because that was for some years. It took me 4 years to lose about 150 pounds. So I'm saying that, you know, the Lord had put everything in perspective and lined it up for me so that I can do what I need to do. I feel like if you're really serious about it, everything will come into play. Everything will come into play, but you got to move yourself. You got to move yourself through.
Okay, so out of Designing Bodies by Ro, we now have Iron Girls.
Yeah, well, Iron Girls is, well, you know, I've been doing shows. I've been doing promoting bodybuilding shows, and I've been promoting them. Of course, I even do the shows. I'm a competitor myself and a promoter, and so with that, I can't say stumbled upon my partner, my business partner, Tanya Wells. She's been doing my tanning and everything. We've been friends and you know, for years. And she's done my first tanning when I did my first show. And we just connect. We connect so well. And she had Studio 10, And then, one day she said, hey, Ro, I would like for you to be my partner. And being that you're into this game as well as she is, being that even though she tan, she never competed, but she's been around all the competitors. So she asked me, and I thought it was a great idea, and I was honored that she asked me to be her. I mean, she knows so many people. And we promote OCB shows. We're promoted for OCB. So that's what we do. We promote, and we have a show November 9th in Atlanta, Georgia. Come out and see us. So that's what Iron Girls has come from. Tanya and I coming together, my partner in crime, and we do what we do for Iron Girls.
Give us one last inspiration that you can give out to people who wants to start their weight loss journey, who are in the middle of their weight loss journey, or who has actually finished their weight loss journey.
You're never finished. You're never finished. As long as you're living and you're breathing. But I want to just first tell me before I get to that part, because that was the last question that you asked. I don't want to sound cliche by saying don't ever stop. I don't want to sound cliche by saying love yourself, because I always preach that. Stay focused. You're going to have those days that things happen and it's going to try to knock you off your grid. We have people that say that, I fell off the wagon. And the wagon becomes a little faster. It's kind of hard to get back on there. You find all kinds of excuses because you've done it before and you know what it's about. So you're now lame to it, saying, hey, I can get back on it. And it really is, it's hard to do so. So my suggestion is, of course, never to get off. I mean, you have your days, but be mindful of what you do. Always think about what you're doing in order to stay on that regimen. Don't get so easily distracted. I mean, you got to love yourself. You got to continuously think, hey, would this help me any, or am I going to get anything out of this from doing that and the other? Yeah, I know sometimes we eat and we go back to our old ways of eating. But you know what? When you realize it's not beneficial to your body, it's not beneficial to your health, and then you want to be able to live a longevity. I know everybody's not going to live for 200 years, but when you are living, live the best. I don't want to have knee replacements, and I don't want to have broken backs, and I don't want to have something going on with this, that, and the other. Once I get 100, I want to be able to at least jump rope. I want to be able to do my push-ups. And that's only because of the fact that my journey has brought me to this far, whereas though I'm able and still capable of doing such. And because of the lifestyle that I'm living. I'm staying healthy. I'm being mindful of what I'm eating. Because I could go into the nutrition and the food stuff that is not good for you, and we pick it up and want to do it anyway. But in an ongoing kind of way, every day, which we know is not good for you. But being mindful, doing the right thing, living and loving yourself is one of the best things to do. I mean, I try to stay on it, and it's been 19 years now that I've been doing it. Since 2000. I've been doing it, and I have no regrets. I wake up in the morning, praise God, that I'm able to stretch, touch my toes. So again, like I said, people my age, I haven't told you my age. I haven't. No, but people my age can't do half of what I do. I look at them. Some are on canes. Some just can't get out of bed. Some needs medication. Not me, because I prevented that from living the lifestyle that I live. So that's basically what I want you guys to do, is to be mindful, know to do the right thing, and love yourself. I know it sounds cliche. I know I got to say it. It starts with you. It starts with you. Love yourself. Do the right thing. Don't come to me saying, oh, I fell off the wagon. Get your butt back on. Oh, it's going to start with me talking like a coach now. Get your butt back on that wagon, and don't let it go too far ahead of you. Get on there and stay on there and do it for your life.
My last question.
Sure.
Since I'm telling you not to tell your age, I want you to tell people, because a lot of time people think that coming into a weight loss journey, you're coming in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. But I want you to enlighten your viewers, your older senior people. Give us their age ranges and who you're working with.
Wow, I have, which I want to say they kind of outdo me in working out.
But tell us your age first.
Well, I'm 55. And I have some 87s, 86-year-olds that come into this gym and they impress me. I have a 73-year-old that 62-year-old. I'm 62 years old, and we move it, and they're impressive, and they do things that 20. I have my senior classes, and some of the 20-year-olds coming in that class be like, I can't hang with them seniors. You know, they're like, bro, this wears me out. Look at them doing their toe touches or whatever it is that I have them to do. They're like, I can't do it. Can I go to your other class? You know, I'm saying this is a beginner's class. You know, but they can't hang with us because we really do it. And it takes time to gradually get that. It takes time, but you will eventually get it, as long as you don't fall off the wagon, basically. So that's what we do. So all I can say to everybody, love yourself. And loving yourself is just not saying that word. It's a whole lot to it. Love yourself.